talking is something you need to get good at. If you're good at talking, you have the gift of the gab, as they say, you can sell anything. No matter what you're selling, the better you get at talking, the better you're going to sell it. So if there's one skill you need to practice for your sales, it's how to talk. How to talk convincingly. How to put energy into your presentation. How to not be boring. Learn to speak. But you need to be good at speaking. Being good at speaking will make you be good at selling. They're the same thing. Get used to talking. I've been in presentations over and over again with people who have a fantastic product, fantastic information, great price point, but the presentation is slick, they've got the PowerPoint, etc., but they're just not good at talking. There's no X factor with their talk. There's no pow. You need to have that pow. You need to get good at talking. Practice it. Practice getting good at talking. That's one of the most important skills you can learn for life. From getting women to selling products, it's exactly the same thing. You need to get good at talking. It's important. So, there's lots of different ways you can get good at talking. My way, the way I talk, suits my personality. You have to develop your own type. But I try my best to make sure I put loads of energy into how I speak. Most people speak and they don't realize super low energy. And when you have the ebook, you don't sell the ebook, you sell the result of the ebook. Because if you sell the ebook, you're bored already. I'm bored. So I scream and I move my arms around and I'm eccentric. I'm over the top. You don't have to be that way. There's other ways you can also be engaging without being the same as me. I know lots of other guys who are engaging other ways. But you have to develop an angle to be engaging. So next time you talk to someone who's an engaging speaker, find out why they're engaging. Even some people are engaging because they laugh all the time. People like positivity. So if you've ever been around someone who's constantly laughing when they talk, but then you're like, well, you listen more. Because what the fuck's so funny? His life seems great. I want to know what he knows. Find a way to differentiate yourself one way or another. There's loads of different tips and tricks. I can't tell you to be like me, because I'm me and you're you. But you need to find a way to be engaging. And the way you do that is next time you're listening to someone and you're particularly engaged, work out what about them is engaging. So I like to be high energy. But high energy always helps. Being low energy never helps anything. Even if you're shit in bed, at least if you're high energy, it'll be better than if you're low energy. You can do something. One thing you do need to avoid is, everyone does it, but if you'll notice, you're watching this university, I'm not reading off a teleprompter, I'm doing everything off the top of my head, and I very, very rarely start stuttering or saying, I've trained it out of my brain. And I teach how to do that in the body language course. So if you're watching this and you want to be able to speak like me, free-flowing, machine gun, get the body language course. But you start slowly. You talk slowly, you breathe, you make sure you don't make any and then you get better at it, and then you can be as quick as me. Now I talk very, very fast without mistakes, without gaps. And will lose you a deal. Oh, so explain to me how the flux capacitor works. Okay, so you just lost it. You just lost the deal right there. And 99% of people will do exactly that. Even people who are good, even experienced people. Okay, so why? How does the flux capacitor work? I'm going to tell you exactly how the flux capacitor works. Here's how it works. Look at this. I just got the deal. You didn't. All I did was repeat his question. You're saying, so you have time to think. I'm repeating the question, so I have time to think. Tell me how the flux capacitor works. Or tell me how the flux capacitor works. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you exactly how the flux capacitor works. All I did was repeat his question. It's not complicated. There's tips and tricks so you learn how to speak without sounding like a moron. If someone uhs and ahs in a presentation with me, I won't buy from them. Because I don't like that shit. I don't speak that way. Learn how to not speak that way.
The main reason for this isn't to be combat ready, as Andrew touched on in a previous video, but it's more to avoid confrontation. Now, me and Andrew are very controversial characters. Almost nobody who knows who we are likes us. You are one of the few people. You're one of the elite, the people who actually understand what we're talking about and like what we have to say, but most people don't. That said, we are never started on in the real world. Now, of course, now we're well-renowned kickboxing champions, but we've always had the same principles and the same body language and the same mannerisms. And we've noticed that people do not start on this very often. And the best way to avoid conflict and to avoid combat is to be perceptive. There was a very famous experiment actually done in India where tiger attacks on Indian miners were completely going crazy. The numbers were through the roof. And you can look this up. Please look it up. And the solution they came to avoid tigers attacking the miners, these miners would take human-faced masks and wear them on the back of their heads. So they'd do their mining, go down in their boats, drive around in their trucks, be out in the open with this mask on the back of their head. And if you look it up on Google Images, for sure you'll be able to find exactly what I'm talking about. You'll see that the masks look stupid. It looks ridiculous. It was only a very minor touch that these guys thought about the problem and actually applied something. But tiger attacks essentially dropped to zero. Now men, very much like tigers, are big pussies too. I just thought of that. I didn't actually write this. But what you'll find is everyone's a coward and no one wants to fight one-on-one. So even if there's only two of you, your body language, how you stand, and where you place yourself can be a massive deterrent to being started on or having any kind of physical confrontation. Now in school, they teach you things like a strong handshake, and I'm sure the basis of this is in every single course or guide to body language in the world, but they teach it for the wrong reasons. In school, I was taught that a strong handshake makes the person who I want to employ me like me more or take me more seriously. But you can convey many different expressions and emotions with something as simple as a handshake. If I'm in a room with a group of people who may or may not be hostile, the standard good handshake they'll teach you to give with the right expression on your face can also mean, don't fuck with me. It can say, I'm stronger than you. It can say, I'm not a pushover. These are things that people don't think about because it's never taught. Everyone's taught how to shake hands, to say, please employ me, please give me a job. But many other things can be conveyed with just a handshake. Now, when me and Andrew are out in public, we're always watching each other's backs. Now, paranoia isn't cool, it isn't sexy, and it isn't really alpha to be paranoid all the time that somebody's going to start on you. I know people who walk through the world in this way. They're scared of everything and everybody. The police, the person walking behind them, they're jumpy. That's not what I'm talking about, and that is not the way men like me and Andrew behave. When I talk about watching each other's backs, it's the small things that me and Andrew do that people who hang around with us pick up on. You guys at home won't see these things because they're never recorded and they're never on camera. Me and Andrew always sit, for example, across the table from one another, just in case somebody decides to come up from behind and attack us. It's very much like the tiger analogy, wearing the mask on the back of your head, eyeing his other set of eyes. If Andrew's on a date with a beautiful woman and I'm sitting with my back against the wall and I can see what's going on behind Andrew, Andrew can relax. Andrew can have his good time. He can not worry about looking over his shoulder because me and Andrew do have a few enemies everywhere, including the city where we live. This doesn't just apply when you're with somebody else. It can very much apply to yourself. Are you by yourself? Are you in Starbucks getting a coffee, about to do some work on your laptop? Fine. Be very careful about where you sit. Choose somewhere where your back is against the wall. Like right now, I'm sitting in a corner. I can see everything that's going on in the room in front of me. This is the place you want to sit. Not because you think somebody's going to come up and attack you. Not because you are scared of assailants or muggers or robbers. Just being able to see everything that goes on in the room gives you the chance to react to situations. I guarantee if you were to look at some of the violent, crazy things that have happened in Europe, from bombings to terrorist attacks in the last few years, some of the people who survived because of where they were sitting. And it wasn't chance. A few of the people, I'm sure, were self-aware enough to be perspicacious about their environment, to sit in the corner, to watch what's going on, to be able to react to the environment around them. Now, when I see people with headphones in, slouched over a table with their coffee, typing away on their laptop, and the whole room's behind them and they're facing the wall, they look like a target to me. You don't have to be a tiger to know that that person is a target. If anything goes down in that coffee shop, if anything goes down in that restaurant, that person is going to be one of the first to die.